Hey everybody, happy Thursday. I hope you're having a really awesome week. I hope the weather is as beautiful for you as it is for me where I am at today. I do apologize for the rather long post yesterday, but there was just no way to break it down and make it any shorter. But it was important to go over how we get comfortable and then we don't make a change. And at the end of yesterday's post, I did two things. I asked you to pick one thing yesterday that you were going to do differently than what you normally did so that you were breaking into the getting familiar with the unfamiliar. And two, to really kind of identify what it is that you would like to see more of in your life to change. And I also hinted at the fact that today I would be talking about really making those changes. And I'm going to specifically focus on why it's so difficult. So we as adults, we all know that changing our habits or behaviors or starting something new is just a bit of an ordeal. Actually, it's one of the most difficult things for an adult human being to accomplish. And I'm not being funny. That's not a joke. It's actually proven scientifically. It is one of the most difficult things for an adult to do, to introduce change into their life. And we all know this. We've all experienced it at least a handful of times. We've wanted to do something. We've thought about making the change. We've maybe taken a step or two towards it, and then we fail. And the failing isn't the issue. The failing is fine. You fail, and that's how you learn, and then you get up and you try again. What is important when we're talking about adding in a new behavior or change in your life, getting familiar with the unfamiliar, is why. Why is it so difficult? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I want to go over one big misconception, which is that most people think that it takes 21 days, just 21 days, 3 simple weeks to make a permanent, lasting change. It doesn't. Okay, the latest research that came out last year, actually, I believe, they studied this. It takes anywhere from 17 days to 6 months for a person to make lasting permanent change in their life. Whatever it is, if it's drinking a cup of water every day, if it's getting to 8 glasses of water, if it's losing weight, if it's stopping smoking, whatever it is, it can take from 17 days to 6 months. It takes the average person, so the typical Joe or Sally, 66 days. 66 consecutive days of consistent effort to make a lasting change or a modification to a current behavior. 66 days, guys. So give yourself at least 2.5 months and then get upset over where you're at, okay? Whatever change it is that you're looking to make or anything new that you're starting, at least give yourself that. Know that you've got to be consistent. You got to do it every day, and you've got about 2.5 months to actually make it so that you don't have to think about it anymore. You may be wondering, much like I was when I started the research on this, why is adult behavior so difficult for so many people? Well, I'm going to tell you. There are 2 immutable truths as to why it's not only a struggle, it's an ordeal for us as an adult to change. The number one truth is that meaningful behavior change is freaking hard. I think I've said that more than once already, but it is. It's difficult. Not only is it hard to start, it's even a bigger struggle to maintain. And then it seems damn near impossible to make it last, okay? If you think for 1 minute that I am oversimplifying how difficult adult change is, let me ask you these questions and you see if you can answer them. Okay, number 1, what do you want to change in your life? I ask all my coaching clients this. What is it that you want to change? I'll give you a couple minutes. Okay, well, maybe it's a couple seconds. That way I keep it on time. How long has this been going on for you? So in other words, what I'm asking you, based on whatever it is you just said you wanted to change in your life, I want you to now say how many days, weeks, months, years has it been that you've popped out of bed every day and went, today is the day I'm going to make this change. Okay? My final question is, how's that working for you? Honestly, how is that working for you? Remember, one of my favorite things to talk about, Mel Robbins and her 5-second rule, is that you pretty much have 5 seconds to act on what it is you want to do before your brain starts talking you out of it, because the brain wants to keep you safe. It likes to keep you comfortable. Okay, so these 3 questions, these seemingly innocent, simple questions that I just asked you, are actually the foundation of the mountainous obstacle that we face when we want to change anything in our life. Okay, it's because, one, we can't admit that we need the change. I know you're sitting there going, I can admit I need to change. Okay, I'll give you that. You can admit that you need to change. It's why you're here. It's why you're in the Sacred You group. It's why you've stayed. It's why you engage with the content, because you know you want to change, that you need to change. Okay, normally most people, they don't want to admit that they need to change, because either they're not aware that they need the change, or more than likely, they know that they need the change, but they know that they should change. They've convinced themselves through infinite excuses and rational denial that they don't need the change. Okay. The second part of that is, we do not appreciate or acknowledge the power that inertia has over us. I actually, if you pop over to the Good for Your Soul website on the blog, there's a post that I did with are you a victim of inertia? Because we just don't think about it. We just don't think about it. But for the most part, if you ask somebody what their preference is as far as making a change, they'd prefer to just not do it. Yeah, they may not be happy. Yeah, things could be better, but it's just easier to just keep things the way that they are. And the reason for that is inertia. It takes an incredible amount of effort to stop something. It takes almost the same amount of effort to start something. Okay, inertia. We have to realize the power that has over us. The other and third part of this first truth, the fact that change is just freaking hard, is that we don't know how to execute change. We don't, because we don't like it. That's why that's why adults struggle with it. So understand, there is a difference between having the ability, having understanding, and having motivation. Need an example? Okay, great. I'm going to give you an example. So let's think about wanting to lose weight. Okay, most people want to lose weight. They're motivated. They have the motivation, but they lack the understanding from a nutritional and a physical exertion point on how to create a plan. They may lack the cooking ability or the ability to create the exercise plan so that they can effectively achieve their goal. Okay, so you can flip that. You may have the understanding, you may have the skill, you just may have no motivation to do it. So change isn't going to happen. The second truth, and I know that you're just dying to know what this is, and we all already know what this truth is, but I'm going to state it anyway. No one can make us change. Okay? We cannot change unless we absolutely, truly want to change. It should be a no-brainer. Okay, we innately all know this. However, I'm going to tell you, based on my experience as a coach and as a human, I've seen it time and time and time again, especially in relationship coaching, whereas one partner wants to make the other partner change. Okay, as a nurse, I can't tell you how many cardiac patients I sat there with, begging and pleading with them in front of their families, educating them on where they're at, where their heart health is, the need that they have as far as the change, that they needed to do a certain diet, that they needed to get some exercise. If nothing else, they just needed to take the medication that we were giving them so that though they didn't want to change their diet and though they weren't going to exercise, we were trying to maintain their life at least the way that it was. And in front of their families, the number of patients that I had that just wouldn't is astounding. In a handful of those cases, It wasn't until we put them through a stress test and showed them how clogged the arteries around that their heart were, in some cases so bad to the point that we had to take them right to open heart, that they would change. I actually had one patient, believe it or not, one patient in 3 years of being a cardiac nurse, one patient who had open heart 2 times. 2 times. Why, you ask? Why did he need to have it 2 times? I'm going to tell you. Because he had the stress test. He wouldn't make the changes. He went right to open heart. He came out. He started to feel a little bit better and decided that he could go back to his lifestyle the way that it was. It didn't matter what he ate. He didn't have to do the medication because he had a new heart. Less than 3 months later, he was having open heart again. Okay? If you are not committed to making change in your life, you're not going to do it. And there's not a nurse, there's not a coach, there's not a loving, supportive person, partner, friend, sister, brother, mother, anybody out there that is going to make you change. You have to want to do it. You have to want to do it. You have to commit to it. You have to realize that you have to know what it is you want, okay, in order to make it happen. So, does it mean once we know and once we make that commitment that we won't stumble? No, we're human, and they're by definition flawed. We are not perfect. So even when you have the commitment, even when you know the change that you want to make, and you realize that it's going to take 66 days of consistent effort, and there are some things you're going to change in your life that, guys, I'm going to tell you, it's something you work on every single day for the rest of your life, because it's just that difficult. I also want to point out that that change isn't always necessarily that there's something bad that you're doing that you want to get rid of, okay? So it's not always well, I'm smoking and I want to quit, or that I'm drinking and I need to quit. It's there are good habits that we have that are good for the world but are bad for us. For example, the 2 that I struggle with every single day, and I've been struggling with them for a couple years now, work with a coach on them, believe it or not. My 2 really big things are, and it's funny that I'm doing this today because I actually had an incident this morning that made me really have to think about these again and focus on them and recommit to changing, to modifying my behavior. So my 2 really big ones are that I hate to see wasted potential. I hate hearing people say that they can't do it. It bothers me to the core of who I am for somebody to sit there and think that they can't accomplish something, or that they have all of this ability, this skill, this talent, this knowledge, this whatever, and that they do nothing with it. As you can see, I struggle with even the thought of it, okay? And the second big one that I have come really far on, I will pat myself on the back for that one, because though this morning is going to contradict that, is that I am not responsible for the ultimate success or failure of another person. I'm not. And that's a tough one for me because naturally who I am, I'm a healer. It's who I am. My purpose for being here is to help people get to where they want to be in life, because anything is possible. Anything is possible. However, I can't do it for them. I can't do it for you. I can show you the way. I can make the recommendations. I can give advice. I can lay out the blueprint. I can stand by you every single day and work you through whatever it is that is going on. But if you don't take the advice, if you don't use the blueprint, if you don't follow my lead, your success or failure, in that case, it would be your failure, is not my failure. Just like if you follow the steps, if you use the blueprint, if you utilize me standing next to you each and every day, helping you work through whatever it is that you're going on, and you're successful, that is all you. Okay? It's not me. I didn't make that successful. You made that success. I had one lady, it was just the sweetest message that I've gotten from a client, which is I worked with her and actually just her and her significant other, her husband. They were high school sweethearts. They had been together for 17 years. And they had finally gotten to the point where they were not only separated, but they were contemplating divorce. They were strongly going towards getting divorced. And within 3 months of just working with the wife, just working with her, she was able to become empowered enough to say what it was she needed, to realize what she needed to change, to better support her husband and how they together could work with their kids. And it saved their marriage. And the text message that she sent was simply that we wouldn't be together if it wasn't for you. And my response to that is no. You wouldn't be together if it wasn't for the effort you put into making that change. I can give you everything in the world to use, but if you don't use it, I can't do anything about it. And if you do use it, awesome, yay, I'm happy for you. I like to see the change. I like to see people happy. I love to see people get where they want to be in life. And that goes through change, making the change. Remember, don't focus on what you have going on that you don't want to do anymore. So as you're sitting there thinking this week about, well, what does it mean by getting familiar with the unfamiliar and becoming unfamiliar with the familiar, I don't want you to think about the bad stuff. Don't, okay? None of us are perfect. Remember, we're human and thereby definition flawed. I want you to focus on the good stuff that you want. So it's not that I'm overweight and I need to lose 20 pounds. It's I want to feel better in 60 days. I want to like the way that I look and whatever it is that I'm putting on. And this is how I'm going to do it, okay? I'm gonna post in the group probably tomorrow. There's a little sheet that I use, and I help clients with this when they're looking at behaviors that they want to adopt, changes that they want to make in their life. And it's a little tally sheet. I will do a quick post tomorrow with it. I promise it'll be quick on how it is you can use it. And if you want to share, because accountability is really big on that, I will tell you, change, okay? Remember, it is consistent, consecutive effort for that 66 days, and having that accountability is huge. Use the group. You have almost 40 amazing women here to support you. You have me. There is the gentleman that's in here, Paul. He is also a coach. Please use him. He's actually asked, please use him. That's why he's here. We will do together a video next week for you guys. I'm looking at probably talking about the gaslighting aspect. He is thinking of sharing how men sabotage relationships. And really, for me, it's us all understanding how we all play a part in the relationships that we have. So I know this video is rather long and I do apologize, but it is a good topic. I hope you're able to watch the whole 18, 19 minutes, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.